Welcome to the Spiritual Healing 2 class, and today is like practicing the art. So practicing the art, there were lots of opportunities to practice the art. So that was actually happening on Monday, but the art was there and practicing the art was there too. But the class didn't continue. So this is our class for today, and we come together in this place where we in fact meditate, in fact are in the sacred place that is within us. This is the place where we want to meet each other, because it's the only place where we can meet each other in this moment, in this present moment. So practicing the art of this, like of spiritual healing, is to allow yourself to come into this place, to relax enough and to see that whatever was happening before, you leave that behind. You see literally the bubble of your limitation being put aside, like not interesting. I'm leaving that for now and opening myself up. And you can maybe shake your body a little, like it is also a physical experience in a certain sense, because your mind and your body are connected, right? It is not two separate parts. No, one is an idea in the mind. The body is an idea in the mind. So spiritual healing is connected to spirit, to what you truly are, to your, say, spirit, not your body. But in that same sense, it is a physical experience that you have, which is like, that's a great paradox. So today we use the art of spiritual healing from Joel, and we use the remedy, that's chapter 25 from the Urtext manuscripts of A Course in Miracles. So the part that I want to use from the art of spiritual healing from Joel is the last chapter in this book, and that's if you be lifted up, if ye be lifted up. And that title is already great, because you want to be lifted up. So that already holds some idea of the density of the human dream, of the physical dream that you find yourself in when you believe your senses. So we will read some parts of it, but actually I want to invite you to not look for something outside of you, but really to go within, because that's where it can be found. That's where your love and say is received, and that's where you feel your connectedness. And this withinness that we use, the term that we use, this withinness is not in your body. This withinness is in the totality of your mind, in your Christ mind, as we say, is with a beautiful word like Christ mind. That's not a small mind. No, it's an all-inclusive mind. It's a whole mind. It's a mind full, say completely full, as a whole idea. So in that, there's no a little bit of this and a little bit of that. No, in that everything comes together as one. So the joy and the love and the innocence and the inspiration, your true self, the fulfillment, salvation, is what all of this is. Like there are no separate parts. We're used to using words for all the separate parts that we know. We think that innocence is something else than love. We think that beauty is something else than salvation. Or, all these things that we made up. Like with our human mind, we divided everything into separate parts. So here, if ye be lifted up, if you allow your whole mind to be, if you allow yourself to be the one self that you are, then you see that all of this falls into place and are not separate parts whatsoever. And so, in fact, they have nothing to do with your ideas about it anymore. So your Christ mind is full of the one thought, which is the thought of God, the love of God. So in spiritual healing, of course, this is the place, literally, where that takes place. So the spiritual healing is the moment of the coming to the realization of this one mind, the one thing that is true about you, the one whole thing that is you. So, and how do you get lifted up? If ye be lifted up. Yeah, but how do you do that? How do I get lifted up? So in these classes that we have been doing, so this is then really the practicing the art, is you see that holding on to ideas is not going to help you to be lifted up. So that's one thing. You don't have to hold on. That's one thing you don't have to do. And so then another part can be your concerns about the future, or your investment in fear. Like, oh, I'm so full of anxiety, I don't know what to do with myself. Well, that is also not practicing this then. That is really like, okay, you're aware of what you feel, that is great. And but where's this fear connected to? It is connected to you, as you describe yourself in this world, in this living in this body with separate bodies. You know, that is what is happening when you experience these things. The same with sickness, in fact. Like sickness is a real idea of separation. What you experience, no one else experiences it, and it seems like, yeah, nobody can feel your pain. So that's a beautiful proof that you're a separate body. You know, these are just ideas that I'm, say, taking a look at right now, or so almost like juggling with. So all these things are, say, important for you to come to the realization of that is not what wholeness and whole mind is. That is not what healing is. And this you know, of course. It is not something new. You know this. So you know of perfection. And isn't that an amazing idea? Like, even in your human mind, you say like, well, I'm a perfectionist. Yeah, oh my God, oh, she is a perfectionist, or he is. Yeah, of course. Like, this idea of perfection is in everyone, available. Like, everyone has an idea about perfection. Everyone has an idea about perfect love. Everyone has an idea about wholeness. Everyone has an idea about salvation. You know, you all have ideas about it. And so it is like part of your, your thought material. It is an idea that circulates in your mind. So now, in your humanness, you have looked for it in all kinds of places to give these terms meaning, not knowing that you did not have to give them meaning, but that they will show you their meaning by you letting go of any kind of idea that you can hold about it. You know, so it's the other way around. So practicing the art is activity that we do, in fact, a practicing of coming to this sweet spot inside yourself where you allow yourself to be vulnerable, where you allow yourself to be, say, honest, even more honest than you're used to. That you offer yourself the opportunity to question the reality of this place that you find yourself in. or what you constituted as your belief, that you dare to take a look at that and even consider giving up ideas about it. That is practicing the art of spiritual healing, because that has an immediate effect on you and how you experience yourself. So, and you get all the situations that you're in the daily, in your daily time, in your daily adventures. you see every day the all kinds of situations popping up in your awareness, where you see that you got to deal with it in a certain way. You cannot avoid it. It's right there. It's right in front of you. It's right in your face. And so how are you going to deal with that if you want to practice the healing that you discovered for yourself? Like, how do you apply this in the dream that you're in? It's like, is there a possibility to do that? See, and that's one of the fundamental things I'd love to teach about today, because it is the fact that you're looking for it in a place where it cannot be found. That's one thing. We heard it just a moment ago in class too. It's like you look for it in a place where it cannot be found. So, but it doesn't take away that you can experience it right now here in yourself. So the situations that you're in, the problems that you meet, so you know already, like, the solution will not be on the same level as where you perceive the problem. So that's the same with fear. I experience fear, but in order for that to resolve, I cannot look for it on the same level as where I experience it. So that means that I have to withdraw myself from this dream, literally. I have to step back out of it and ask for help. Like, I want to see this in a different way. One way that I cannot come up with. One way that I cannot think of. I cannot make it up. No, this time I want to choose for what is really there. Like, that is what I want. I want what is really there. And in the daily practice of it for yourself, you see that it's not so easy to do this right away. Because stepping back out of your situation also is like not a real human thing to do. Because as a human, you try to take care of yourself, you try to solve your own problems, and you try to fix things in order to move on and to survive and to doing all these things. And in spiritual healing, it's just the other way around. You're not solving your problems, because you know that you're meeting the problem and the solution on the same level, and it will never work. You came that far to realize that. So now we're going one step further. If that doesn't work, there has to be another way of dealing with this. And then say, if ye be lifted up, like the title in this book is so great. It's like, if ye be lifted up, if you are lifted up in your consciousness, you see that the problem disappears, like it dissolves. Because the greatest problem that you could perceive was the fact that you are separate from everything that is. And that was the reason that you were upset and that you were walking around trying to get even, or trying to prove you're right, or trying to solve your health problem, financial problem, social problem, like relationship problem, or whatever you were meeting. So none of that has worked, that you try to solve it yourself. That's why they repeat themselves. They come back to you every time a little bit stronger until you learn the lesson. Like in the Course it says, like, no matter how much suffering you go through, it happens, like it will come back to you in a more clear way. It comes back to you in an even more painful way, until you learn the lesson that you literally cannot solve the problem because the problem is not real. You experience yourself as being separated from everything that is, from the love of God. You really thought it was possible that such thing existed. And then, no, we step back out of it. We go within. We ask for help, or however you do that. It's like you pray, or you become still. You start to listen. You start to connect. Become really present here instead of anything else. And see then, suddenly then, something changed in you. And you had no idea how that happened. And you had nothing to do with it either. But you know one thing, that it changed. You know, it changed something. And it feels really good to feel that support in the problems that were problems a moment ago. Like the problem literally dissolved. It is not there. You cannot bring it back to life. Literally it dissolved. So this is then the real way of problem solving that takes care of the problem. And so continuously you can practice this, because every day is full of moments in which you have to make where you think you have to make a decision, or where you think something is not working out, or where you think like, oh God, what is happening to me? Wow, I feel so miserable, or whatever it is, like, stop right there. Wait a minute. So relax into this moment. Take time to go inward instead of anywhere else, and feel, like, listen, feel that contact come to you. Like feel yourself opening up, letting go of what you thought the solution would be, letting go of your right, of being right. So that is what's being offered continuously, in fact, in every moment by you. So we say like practicing the presence or becoming present here. It is really like that. This is how we practice, in fact, spiritual healing. So you can see this in a patient healer setup. Sure, it works just as well. But it can also be that you're by yourself, or that you're entering into a supermarket and something is occurring that it seems to need your immediate attention. So in that, you practice the art. You literally allow yourself to become totally present instead of leaning on old experiences that you have yourself. Like, no, I don't need those. I know them from the past. I have used them a lot. But I want a real solution to what is occurring here. See, and then it can even be a situation that seems to be like an emergency. I always experience this as totally amazing. So you allow yourself to become totally present, and that already changes everything for you in your experience of yourself. Then whatever appears to be happening outside of you, it doesn't really matter anymore, but you know that you are present and you can trust your presence there. Like your presence has great companionship, great company, great support. That's the word I was looking for. It has great support. So, and that is available when you become present, when you say like, okay, I'm not going to respond to this in the way that I was trained or used to or anything like that. I let all my, I let my nets go and say discover a new experience of myself in situation like this, that in which I perceive a problem, but I know that the solution will not be in the place where I meet the problem. So like I said, I create experiences with that. When you become present here, you start to relax and you start to become, say it's like a comfort you feel inside yourself. You see that you don't have to rush. You become peace itself, literally in that moment. So you become very still. When you need to do anything, when you need to think anything, when you need to say anything or do anything, it will literally be told to you, and told in the sense of you feel yourself moved to doing it, and you can learn and you can do completely trust that. Like, despite if it fits into the situation or not, it really does not matter. So this is really practicing the art, and it's very practical because it has nothing to do with the perceived situation, but it's just you confirming, no, there's no such thing as separation. No, I'm right here. This is where my salvation is. This is where it's all happening. I can be present here and extend my love to everyone here. So this is your practice as a savior, say, as a savior of this world that you find yourself in, while you're not of it, but and also you're not looking for the solution in it. So these are this is the fine-tuning of spiritual healing. It really is. It's like it's the fine-tuning. So actually things fall into place and come into practice here, where you exactly know where you stand and where you don't want to go. It's like that's exactly what that is. So that you can call that, and it's somewhere said in the Course in Miracles too, it's like true empathy. And true empathy is then you know exactly where you find yourself. You're right here, present here. And you're not going to let yourself be, say, persuaded by the perceived situation. But you totally come from within and from your connection that you trust as your comfort with a capital C. It's like your total comfort is right here. You don't need to be distracted by any or persuaded by anything else. And I've only good experiences with that. Like that just keeps on going. And all the perceived things that seem to be so horrendous or so challenging or so dangerous or so who knows what, all these situations literally dissolved in no time. And seeing, this was the only thing that I needed to do. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how happy I am to experience this right here in this situation. Like I'm literally, in that moment, I'm literally leaving this world. I'm literally coming to, say, if you want to put it in an Easter perspective, I'm literally coming off my cross here. The cross that I carried on my back, like the three-dimensional cross of human existence, of human limitation, literally nailed to it by law and by ideas and by valuing it. Suddenly I'm being lifted out of that. So if ye be lifted out of that situation that appears to be so threatening and so acute and so dangerous in a sense, or so existence like a matter of life and death, when it appears that way, don't let yourself be fooled, because it is not what it seems to be. There is no such thing as separation. There is no such thing as death. So all this disappears in front of your eyes when you start to go within and practice the art of spiritual healing, practicing the art of connecting within. So yeah, it's always good to have a lot of experiences with that. So you have those, you have all the opportunities. I know that for sure. Like everyone has such perfect plan given to him. The setup in which you find yourself with the people that you meet on a daily level, on a daily basis, the situations that you find yourself in, or the moments that you're just all by yourself and don't know the way out of it. That can also be a thing. Like you're isolated by yourself, in yourself. Don't let yourself be fooled that is like that's impossible to get out of. Like, no, it's never what it seems. It is not what you think it is. The solution is right here. You're one thought away of it. Literally, like God is. God is. That cannot be changed. God is. It's happening right here, right now, in this instant, not any other time. I might as well accept it and see that for what it is, and experience that for what it is. So that is practicing the art. So in class we're going to share some experiences that we have regarding this subject, because it's really interesting, because it's so practical, and that that's great to give one another situations in which you actually are perceiving this, or maybe look at the situation like how would I do that? How does that even work? So that's what we're going to do in class, in this online class. And so for the ones that are watching this on YouTube, so thank you for watching this. I really appreciate that you're here, and totally enjoy your presence. So thank you for that, and see you soon. And happy Easter, of course.